Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast for today. It is Sunday, March 9th. I hope you're all doing fantastic today and had a great weekend. I don't know why that light's a little bit in the view. There we go. So, DC, great to have you here. How are you doing today? Hopefully you had a nice weekend. We have our mice here. Let's bring our mice in. DJ. How cute. There we go. We got our mice. And we're ready. We're ready for the warmer weather to start happening now. We really are, because we're in March now. We finally changed the clocks ahead, which means it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before the warm weather comes. Okay. So, welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking about hatred towards someone else. What happens if you have hatred towards someone else? That's what we're going to be discussing. So my weekend was very, very busy, I must say. I spent a lot of time making my food. That tends to be what happens. Spend a lot of time making something because it'll last for several days. Ideally, 5 or 6 days, but not always. Sometimes it's just like 4 days or so, but regardless, it was very, very good. Mice, what did you do this weekend? We just sniffed a feet. DJ. How cute. Chris, great to have you here. How are you doing? Ryan, great to have you here as well. Let's say into esoteric things. Good. Very, very good. Yeah, we're going to be discussing all sorts of interesting things today. We will. Let's see. I'm here. I'm working on an extensive article as I'm listening. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Hopefully this article is very, I guess, thought-provoking and interesting for you to really write about, something that you're really passionate about. That sounds amazing, Ryan. Hopefully the articles go well. I am very used to writing articles. I've written hundreds of things that I've just written. You know what's so crazy? So here's the thing. A lot of what I do now is just like a lot of writing. Writing up stuff for the videos, or writing reviews on, like, I do like game reviews and I write down all of the stuff according to that and all that. Whole bunch of stuff that I just write. When I was in school, I disliked writing. Like, any sort of class where I'm like writing a presentation or a paper, I just disliked it with a passion. Here I am, basically writing stuff all the time. Tons and tons and tons of stuff. Just so much stuff that I'm writing. So, yeah, it's it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Who knows what my favorite subject was in school? Does anyone know? What was your favorite subject? Wonder if anyone can guess. Wonder what yours was back in the day. And if you're still pursuing that. Because if you had a favorite subject, are you still pursuing the things that you were really interested in? Let's see, it's about the culture and psychological impact of the Wendigo on indigenous tribal beliefs. Oh, interesting. That's very, very interesting, Ryan. Boys and ladies, our favorite class in school was feet class. DJ. Actually, it was gym, because everyone would be running around and get their feet all stinky and sweaty, and then we just sniffed them afterwards. Boy! Biology. Yep, I knew it, Ryan. I was thinking some sort of science thing with you. I suppose I did stick with it. Cryptozoology needs biology, right? Yeah, you need some sort of understanding of how these creatures are the way that they are and why they exist, right? Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, boys, are you going to behave? We don't need any of that, although we want to get them right into camera. There you go. Now that looks cute. Just right down there. Let me, there you go. Let me just move it up just a little bit more. Perfect. Perfect, amazing. Okay. Let's see, absolutely. You need to understand known quantities before you can examine the unknown. Yeah, the unknown is always very, very fascinating to a lot of people, isn't it? But it's also very scary for a lot of people as well, because you don't know what's going to happen. People are very, very scared of the unknown and what may or may not happen in the future. Yeah, we talked about that last week about, just being prepared for what may come, what may happen. So it's very important to be prepared. I just ate a bunch of turmeric, and the tea does not have as much flavor right now. I guess the turmeric kind of dulls out the flavor. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyway, so I guess my main question to start off with is, well, I don't even really need to ask, because we all know that it's true. That all of us at one point or another, we may not actively do it now, or maybe we have grown to understand that things are a little different now and that we shouldn't have such negative feelings about someone. But if you have hatred towards other people, I'm sure there's at some point in our life we have had hatred towards someone or something else. But let's specifically talk about having hatred towards other individuals, other people. Other people to the point where you wish bad things upon them. You have so much hatred that you want something bad to happen to someone. I'm sure at one point or another, this idea has crossed our mind, and we have wished bad things on someone. We have had negative emotions regarding what either someone did to us. Maybe we want to seek revenge on them, or that they have something that we don't have. We feel jealous about that, and we're wishing something negative upon them. Even if it's people that we don't even know, we feel as though we're giving them too much control over our own lives, that it's affecting us and it's making us hate the other person, even though we don't even know them. So these are all things that happen. Mostly these are going to come from people who, I guess, really haven't understood too much about life yet, to the point where they don't realize that there's no point in any sort of hatred towards something else. That is my personal belief, and we will drill down into that a little bit deeper. But let's see, Ryan says, not hatred, disdain. I suppose I try not to hate anyone. I try to remember that everyone has a story. That's a very good point to bring up, Ryan, because yes, absolutely. You need to be able to accept other people for their wrongdoings and their beliefs and the way that they are. Most people probably don't necessarily think like that, but also you have to think at a point where you weren't always like that either. I'm sure at one point in your life you did have negative feelings and hatred towards someone else, or wish something negative upon someone else. That tends to be, we're talking about, if you're really, really young. It's like, it doesn't have to be like as an adult you're doing that, because I think most adults should be mature enough to realize. But the fact is, that's not always the case. No. The thing is, even a lot of adults and people, they really don't understand. And they're going to wish hatred. And they're going to wish something bad is going to happen to someone for whatever reason. So, yeah. It's a very sad thing. I was the same way. You have to think, I'm not a perfect person. Back in the day, it's like people made me angry. I would just did not like the people. I hated certain people. And it's like, oh, you just wish for something bad to happen to them, It's like, that's just how human nature is. But when you're mature enough to realize this is not the correct way forward, then you should, change course. But I would say a lot of people don't. It's like, oh, of course, maturity brought wisdom. I've realized that sometimes what people do is a reflection of them, not you. Sometimes something has made them unhappy. Yep, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. That is a very, very good point to make, that we would be talking about more in depth. Isn't that right, boys? That's right. I don't know what this one's staring up at. He's just staring up at the ceiling, I guess. How cute. Look how cute. That is so cute, though, isn't it? It really is. I just can't. Such a cutie. Such a cutie. Anyway. So, hatred towards other people. Yeah, that is certainly a very, very negative, bad thing to have. So, exactly what sort of levels of hatred can people have? Well, let's really break this down and really think about it here, because hatred can come in many different forms and the severity can change drastically, but let's try to really think about some of the reasons and the ways that people hate someone else. People can hate someone else for just the most simplistic of things. It's like someone maybe messed up something, and then you throw a temper tantrum and you have severe hatred towards that individual. Very immature type of thinking and behavior. But then maybe you have something that is more deeper rooted, that someone has severely wronged you or traumatized you, and you have severe hatred towards them. Or maybe it's people you don't even know that you feel as though are controlling you or have control over you, that you feel as though you've lost control, that you're letting someone else control you more than you're controlling yourself. So then you end up having hatred towards them as well, because you feel as though they're controlling you, so you have no say. So you end up hating the other person. What about hatred with perhaps a certain status that someone has? Perhaps someone is at a higher status than you. Perhaps they make more money than you. Perhaps they have a certain job that you wish you could have gotten. Again, this can come back to people that you don't even know. So if you were applying for a job and someone else got it, and you feel as though they're not as qualified, you may have hatred towards the person who got the job in addition to the people who hired this person. You may have hatred towards those individuals because this other person has something that you wanted that you no longer have. I think jealousy is also a major big impact when it comes to hatred towards other individuals, because when you're jealous of someone else, someone's status, someone has something that you don't have, it's like, oh look, that person is able to go on vacations. They are able to have a happy life. They're able to afford this car that I've always wanted. They're able to have a loving family and kids and whatever. And it's like you just get angry and upset because where you are in life, you don't have those things. You may want those things, but for one reason or another, you do not have them. So you have hatred towards the people who do, because that's the only way you can cope with your lack of having those things. So you hate other people to try to bring them down to your level so that you're able to get better control over your own emotions and feel better about yourself. So that is where a lot of hatred can come into play. That you have hatred towards other people because all sorts of reasons. But the status, what someone has, jealousy, are major impacts of that. So you have to be very mindful. It's like, do you hate someone? And this is probably the most time I will ever say hate, because yeah, I will talk about, my personal feelings. If you've been following me for a while, then you already know. But yeah, hatred. Ugh. Jealousy is a waste of time. If you're not where you wish you could be, you need to focus and keep at it. You're absolutely right. That is a very mature way of thinking. Very, very mature way of thinking that unfortunately not too many people have. Instead, people are going to think of, how can I bring other people down to my level? Because I feel so bad about myself. How can I bring other people back down to my level so that I feel better? It's like, I feel so bad. I have to bring other people down to my own level. Look how cute. They are the stars. These are the real stars of the show. They just don't say much of anything, but we know that they are the biggest distraction. That should be a topic all in itself, distraction, because they are distracting. Anyway. I still can't really taste the tea all that much. It's a little bit coming back to me, but it's not much. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyone got thrown off by the time change? I guess Ryan, you don't. Arizona doesn't celebrate daylight savings. So how is it for you being an hour earlier for the stream? That's like the only state that doesn't observe the time change. It's crazy. That would be ideal, I suppose, because this time change really threw me off this year. Like other years, not so much, but you know, yeah. So no time change for us. It's just a bit odd keeping up with my friends who do the time change. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, you know, there aren't too many countries that even do the daylight savings time. You know? Like, there aren't too many countries. I'm gonna look that up. Because, yeah, I mean, that's another very interesting thing. It's like, oh yeah, daylight savings time. It's like when I'm talking with certain people, it's like, oh wait, now they're in a different, you know. So, we have, you know, United States, Canada, parts of Australia. I think, let me actually view a map here. Okay, here is the map. And not only that, it's not all parts of the country, like United States, everything except for Arizona. In Canada, there's certain blocks that do not observe it. We have Europe, most of Europe. And we have a little tiny part of Australia, just like the bottom part. And then a little tiny part of South America, like a very sliver. And that's basically it. Most of the world does not celebrate it. Pretty much all of South America, besides a little tiny sliver, doesn't honor daylight savings time. Pretty much none of Africa except for one, and I don't know exactly what I'm not exactly sure what I'll have to view a map. Let's see. I'm curious. This is always I'm always very curious about this, you know? It's just very interesting. Yeah, Egypt. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was Egypt. Egypt's the only one that does daylight savings time, and then most of Europe. Russia doesn't. India doesn't. All the other Middle Eastern and Asian countries don't. So yeah, it's mostly a United States and Europe thing. It's interesting. It really is. So yeah. GG, great to have you here, as well as Star Helix. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. See, I ate a bag of pine seeds once and it ruined my taste buds for a week. Oh no. I wonder what's the deal with that. I wonder why that happened. Do I have any issues with my thyroid? I do not, fortunately. A lot of my friends are 3 hours different, so it's difficult scheduling things with them. It's 9:30 p.m. in Ireland. Okay, well that's a pretty good. I guess Ireland does the time change, right? Ireland, yep. Yes, it did. For 4 years, it did not observe it. From 1968 to 1972, there was a lull that it did not observe it. It's interesting. Or there's certain countries that only only honored it for like a few years. It's like, yeah, we would just do it for these few years only. It's interesting, it really is. It's interesting. Let's see, our clocks go forward at the end of this month. Ah, so you're not even on the same time schedule. Wow, okay. So even though daylight savings time here, we did it yesterday. Well, technically 2 a.m. this morning. It went from 1:59 to 3. I guess other countries do it on different days. I didn't know that. That is very interesting. Okay. It's very interesting. I wish it wasn't the case. I kind of don't like it. I only celebrate it when the clocks go back for extra sleep. Yeah. That's the only time. That's the only time to actually honor it. Yeah, because I struggled this morning. My schedule was all thrown off. It feels like it's all thrown off. 2:25 p.m. California. Yeah, yep. It's just I start the stream very, very early in California, don't I? California time, 2 p.m. See, I got confused because the NASDAQ opened an hour earlier. Always forget. Not if you live in New York, then it's always the same time. There's a link between estrogen and hypothyroidism. Yes, lots of trans women have. I know, you've mentioned that before. Yes, you have mentioned that before. And my thyroid has only at one point ever been borderline slightly underactive. Since then, it has been perfectly fine. So, yeah, it has not been an issue. Now, mind you, if I do have a thyroid that is underactive, all of my symptoms, I have no symptoms of it. I don't put on weight. I don't have low energy. Nothing of the sort, It's like I tend to have relatively good energy. I lose weight with estrogen. I mean, look, how many people can take female hormones, and even just women in general as well, if, hormones and everything. They actually lose weight taking them. It's like, hey, that's me. I'll take it. I would lose weight. It's interesting how that works. I don't know how it works, but somehow it does. Did you? So, let's get back to the topic for a little bit now. So, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, it was actually Ryan who brought it up here about when you have hatred towards other people, that tends to be a reflection of yourself. There's something with yourself that you don't like, that you're projecting to other people. So with the example that we used about having hatred towards other people because you're jealous of them, because they have a higher status than you, or they're in a position that you wish you could be in, it's because within you, you're not confident with your own abilities that you can actually be happy for someone else, that you have to take your anger and frustration out on them because you are upset with yourself that you don't have something. So that often, a lot of time, has to go with you not knowing the other person as well. So when you don't know the other person, you have anger and hatred towards someone you don't even know. It's often a reflection of how you feel about yourself. If you don't like someone because they are a certain way, especially if you don't know them, because there is no reason to hate someone if you don't really know them. It doesn't make any sort of sense. Because you don't really know the person. But if you do, it could be because you have some sort of inner conflict that's making you having hatred towards this other person. Like, I think about people who are bullies, for example. I think probably a lot of us may have been bullied when we were in school. A lot of the time, the bullies are the people who dislike themselves, who have issues with their own family life, issues in their own personal life, so they are projecting that to someone else. That's what happens a lot of times. So when that happens, we will think that we are to blame for this other person's actions, that we are at fault, when the real scenario is that this other person has some sort of inner conflict with themselves that they can't deal with the problem, so they project that to bring other people down to their level. Because you have to put it into the perspective that they are in. So from this other person's perspective, this other person has been either bullied or traumatized themselves by certain situations. They're not happy with the person they are. So they are like all the way down here, okay? They're all the way down here. And perhaps you are like up here. Okay? You are not necessarily confident, I would say, but maybe you feel happier than they are. Maybe you have things that they don't have. And they look at you as a threat because they perceive you as a higher status than them, when you may actually view them as a higher status because maybe they have something that you don't have either. So you get upset. Not necessarily angry or hatred, but maybe you do have some sort of jealousy because they have something that you don't have. But then they look at you as a threat because they feel you're above them. So what do? They harass you, they belittle you, they bully you to try to drag you down to their level so they can be above you. It's not about lifting themselves up, it's about dragging you down to their level and then just taking that one extra step to be right above you in their mind, a perception that they have towards you within their mind. So that tends to be how it is a lot of times. Someone has something that you don't have, you get upset, you get jealous. Some people take it overboard depending on other situations going on in their personal life. Then they end up becoming a bully. They end up having hatred towards someone else. They end up doing bad things to someone else. They end up just wishing bad things upon other people. So it is a sad thing. It really is. Let's see, I have a disdain for politicians. I wanted to say hate because they are merely a product of their environment. You know, that's a very good thing as well, because I think probably most people, they do not like politicians or people in that position of power, because if we really take a look at the psychology of the mind of some of those people, I should not even say the word some. I should say 99%. 99.9%. A lot of them, I would say, are very self-centered. They are narcissistic. They only really care about themselves and elevating their own status. They would do whatever it takes to lie and manipulate just to benefit themselves. So when you really think about that and you really, realize most of the people are like that when it comes to people in that position of power, it's like, oh, okay. So really, that is their coping mechanism. Because they have such hatred towards themselves, that they don't like so many things about themselves, that they have to elevate themselves into this massive position of power so that it appears, it's an illusion that they have all this power and wealth and money and everything, but that does not buy any sort of success. That does not buy the status of being able to say that, hey, I am happy with who I am and I love the person that I am. You cannot buy that. No amount of lying and trying to get around it is ever going to solve that. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting how these people are placed in that position of power because they can do manipulative tactics to really persuade people and to convince them that they're on their side, when in reality they're just benefiting themselves. So it's a very sad thing. It really is. But we should be able to see past it. We need to be able to look beyond it. What these people do, how they lie and manipulate. Can we see it? Can we see the lies and manipulation? But yeah, that's what's one of the things. If people have this hatred towards those people, they have hatred towards them, they don't know what to do because they feel as though they are helpless and defenseless against this other person who's making rules and regulations that violate their own consent. Well, it's because you're allowing that person to have some sort of control over you. You're allowing them to dictate to you what you should and shouldn't do. Now, mind you, certainly some do, absolutely. You know, that is what some make rules and laws and regulations and all that sort of stuff. But we have to be able to put them into their place and just say, you know, I'm not going to be scared of that type of nonsense. I'm not going to be pressured or bullied into behaving or doing a certain thing because some person that is a narcissist who thinks that they're in a position of power, thinks that they can control or say and do whatever that they want with what I believe. So it's just something to really think about there. Okay. Let me see. I'm kind of tasting the tea a bit more, but it's not all that strong. It's very interesting. A little bit. A little bit. Yeah, I just still have some of the turmeric taste in my mouth. The whole inside of my mouth was like super like orange and yellow from the turmeric. It's crazy. That turmeric is very, very strong. All of my insides now are probably all like orange and yellow. Oh, if I'm turning orange, turn into me. Yes, gonna become the best president ever. Turn into orange. Yes, maybe. Slowly but surely. Each day, slowly become more and more orange. Okay, so let me take one more sip of tea, and then I would like to discuss what I do when it comes to hatred. How do I deal with that? Not just with other people, but also just, as I said, I don't use that word. Yeah, we're gonna put tariffs on turmeric because I don't need people turning into me. There can be only one of me. Oh no. Yeah. I mean, look, that stuff you can go full orange just with turmeric. My I cut up a bunch on Thursday. And pretty much it is fully gone from my fingers. It's just a little tiny bit left, but oh man, it just like stains. It stains like crazy. It really does. First, it's like on my hands, it was very, very orange. And then the day after, it turned like yellow and then just slowly faded away. So yeah, turmeric is extremely strong with the coloring. It's a very good natural color agent, whether it be for yellow color or an orange color. You know, just depending on how much that you use. If you use a lot, it's going to turn orange. If you use a little bit, it turns like yellow. So it's interesting. Add the orange tint frame by frame. Yes, I add the orange tint frame by frame. Just like the eyebrows, I add them frame by frame. I walk away and they're still there. That was the funniest, wasn't it? Eyebrows frame by frame. It's like, yeah, I mean, that is such a good thing because it's like, who in their right mind actually believed that? Well, someone did. They were arguing the point with someone in the comments about that. Wonder if I can find that comment. I should take a quick look and see. I think the person deleted all their stuff, so I don't think I can. Okay. I mean, I doubt it, because it's gonna be like so long ago. Aha. Aha. So. I recognize the username, but yeah, they aren't here anymore. Because someone was replying to them. I saw their username. I'm like, I know it's some like cutesy type name or something. Yeah, they're just gone. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. Possibly. It may be somewhere else. But yeah, the one I was looking at, that's just, yeah, it's just so interesting. Actually, it could have been even longer ago, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it's just a fascinating thing. Let me do one more search here to see. frame by frame. Oh man, it's just I don't know. Some people are very, very interesting. Yeah, I don't see anything of the sort now, but that person's account is very likely just gone at this point. Let me just try to go to the okay, I mean, they changed the name here. See, it's possible it could be this one here, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway. Armchair critics, indeed. Yeah, they can say whatever that they want. You missed those Q&As, yeah. You know, I was thinking, it was very interesting. I got some like really weird comment the other day. Forget what it was, but yeah, you know, people say such the weirdest stuff. Not so much on this channel anymore, like on a different one. They post some weird stuff sometimes. You know, and it's like, yeah. Like there was I kind of mentioned this to you. Well, I don't know how many people were here when I mentioned it. On my other channel, someone had kept posting like stomach growling, microphone stomach growling noise, something. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of strange. It's like, okay, what in the world? What is all that about? I have no idea. I have no idea. But yeah, it was very, very strange. It was very, very strange. But yeah, I mean, or like comments like this. Like I see this. Someone says, "This is not a. This is. I'm sorry. I have to use the correct grammar that they use. This is not woman. This is not woman." You know, just like stupid stuff. It's like, okay. It's like, okay. This is not woman. Indeed. Indeed. Whatever you say, bud. Whatever that you say. But yeah, there's just so many like interesting weird stuff, but it's not as crazy as it was before. Oh man, oh man. Okay, my tea is done. My tea is done. So the last thing I really wanted to mention about this particular topic of hating other people. So how do I deal with it? How do I handle, you know, negative feelings or hatred towards other people? Well, I don't remember when I stopped using it, but yeah, I mean, I don't use the word hate. I dislike something, but I don't really use the word hate. And it's because I feel as though it's a very strong word. So it's like, yeah, it's just something that I just don't really do. Because to me, I understand that everyone is different. The way that they approach life, the way that their life experiences are. So people are going to behave certain ways that I may not understand, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I should hate them. Rather, I like to understand why the person behaves the way that they do. So if someone is going to say some hideous, horrible thing to me, I'm not going to hate them because obviously they have some sort of issue that they feel the need to say that sort of stuff. What is the reason behind it? Why are they saying it? I don't know. But the fact is, they are saying something that is awful and hideous. Perhaps even right to my face, although usually it's never right to someone's face. It's usually like online, hidden behind like a fake persona. So that's the way that I rationalize it. I'm just like, this person is hiding who they are. They're not able to show who they truly are. They are a fake and a fraud. They're not able to actually be them true self. And they're projecting that to me. So why should I feel down based on them trying to bring me down? Why should I have hatred back towards that person when what they want, remember now, bullies, they want a reaction so that they can feel superior to you. If you don't give them that satisfaction, they will eventually leave you alone. Not all the time, but a lot of times. It's like a narcissist who's constantly pestering you. They want a response from you. They want you to behave a certain way so that they can feel good about themselves. If you don't give them that satisfaction, then they're not able to thrive off of the conflict, so they will eventually give up. It's almost like we should have pity for haters. Pretty much. Someone's just like, oh, I pity you that you have the time to go online and watch every single one of my videos, comment on how wrong I am about it, dislike every single video that I've put out, and all that sort of stuff. It's like, interesting. You have the time to do that because you're obsessed. So it's like, I'm just going to I'm not going to hate you. It's just that very, very interesting. Lockski, great to have you here. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. See, politicians are controlled by certain individuals. You're absolutely right. It's like we're talking about a lot of the negativity that people have, a lot of the narcissism that guides people in these directions, but they're often controlled. They really are. They're often controlled by other people. It's like, you must lie to do this. And these are people who sell their soul. They sell their soul. They've sold it, so they don't really... They can't really behave for themselves. They can't think for themselves. Let's say, what about death threats? How do we react to that, or shouldn't? So, yeah, I've received that sort of stuff before. I've received, people saying, people who claim to be nurses and doctors and whatever, wishing death upon me and my family. Because of Corona. Yes, I hope that you get Corona, because if you're boosted, then you don't have to worry about it. Yes, but if you're not, then you're going to die a miserable death. Yes. Stuff along those lines, It's like, okay. So, when you receive those sort of negative, hateful things, towards you, yeah, it's just best to be one of those people that just ignores that sort of stuff and just don't bother with it. Just block the people involved if you so desire. Just don't do that. I've had people, just over the years say all sorts of hateful, nasty things. And I don't engage with it at all. I may respond to some people who say things that are a bit negative from time to time. It's like someone who had commented something about, you're so wrong about this. You're putting people's lives in danger regarding, I think this was about like trans stuff and whatever. It's like, how dare you, it's like all the kids who are going to transition because of you and whatever. It's like, why are you watching and commenting if you don't like what I have to say? And then after I said that, the person actually unsubscribed. It's like, okay, good. You're gone. Thank goodness. Get out of here, please. It's like, why are you watching if you don't like what I have to say? It's like, why would I personally watch something that I don't agree with or I don't like? I understand if you want to listen to opposing information. That is different. Okay? I think it's important to understand where the opposite position is. But at the same time, you have to realize if you're watching something that you hate and it's consuming you and you dislike it and you're just surrounding yourself with it nonstop, that makes no sense. You have to do the things that you really like and want out of life, and you can't just be consumed by all this negativity. Let's see. Let's see, I disagree, but don't we have to go to the police if it's a death threat? If it's online, it is a bit different. Because, yeah, if it's in person, yes, absolutely. If it's in person, absolutely, you need to go and report that. I've not received anything in person, so I was just talking about my experience when it comes to online death threats from other people or things along those lines. Or it could start out online. Here's the other thing. It could start out online and it could progress where the person reveals your personal information. They're posting, where you live or posting your family's information or whatever else. Then that's also another time to intervene with the authorities. So yeah, certainly take it very seriously if you feel as though it is a threat. But if random people are just saying it online, which is what I've received at least, then yeah, it's just best to just ignore that sort of thing. It's like, I don't care what you have to say. I really don't care what you have to say. So. And I guess, when it comes to my perspective of when I dislike other people's opinions or things, I don't hate them, but I try to find some sort of common ground. What sort of thing, like I may not agree with someone on this topic. Perhaps it is a topic that I'm very passionate about, that I strongly disagree with them on this particular topic. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find some common ground. It's like, what are some things we can discuss and talk about that we can get along with, as opposed to just constantly focusing and talking on this one thing that we both strongly disagree with. You see, I don't think you've ever glorified being trans. No, I don't. I don't try to be, because I want to be the voice of reason and doubt. Okay? I want to be the person that's like, don't follow this road. This is a last resort. This is an absolute last resort that you should do. Try to resolve it by any means necessary prior. Last resort only. If everything else has been addressed and it's like you still can't, then that's the only time to really do it. It should never be the first consideration at all. So. And see, the police won't do much. I've had someone accuse me of beating my mother, and the cops suggested a cease and desist. Interesting. Well, that is awful. You got accused of those sorts of things, Ryan. But awful stuff. People are just so awful because they try to bring you down. Try to bring you down because you're in a position of power or status that they want to be in, so they get jealous. Just let's see how we deal with hatred. Let's draw our card of the week. Hatred, dislike, all that sort of stuff. Let's see what the week ahead holds for us, as it's going to get warmer. I am so happy. I'm so happy. Soon I'll be able to wear short sleeves and shorts. It's going to be so nice. I love this. Our card of the week is the Knight of Wands, although this looks like it's going into autumn. This looks like it's going into autumn. The Knight of Wands. Let's see what the Knight of Wands has to say about our upcoming week. What should we prioritize? What should we think about? What are the themes going to be for this week? It is going to be... Gosh, I think we've gotten this one a lot too, or something similar. This generous journey. So, generosity. Going on a journey. I mean, look, he's on a horse. He's riding. He's riding. Go on a journey. Do something new. Be generous to other people. See, I don't believe in being hateful or negative to other people, but you also have to put into perspective. You can't be too nice to have people run over you. Let's be real. Okay. See, sad thing, it's a former friend who created that story. I showed mercy because I know he's mentally unwell. Oh. That's even worse when it's someone that you're close to. Let's see. I told you once more before I walk out the door, don't bring me down. Ah, okay. That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. I forget what it is, but it sounds familiar. Tarot cards scare me to death. Oh. They're very interesting. They're very, very interesting. I'm not a pro tarot card reader or anything, but I do look at them and ask the question and such, so yeah. Some people are only your friend until they no longer need you. That's a good way of thinking about things, Ryan, because yeah, you're absolutely right. People will be your friend a lot of times because there's mutual growth to be had between friends. But there comes a point when things don't always align anymore, so you have to break it off. Or they could go behind your back and say and do things. So, look how cute. Boys, do you have any final words? No, Laser, I don't. Only a sniff. All they do is sniff at the end. All they do is sniff at the end. Here, we can get them like this to end it off with. They go, I got rats. Look, these look like some sort of like head ornament or something. It's just kind of weird. It's like a, I don't know. It's part of my being. They have become part of me. You see, in this case, this friend was becoming jealous of my popularity, so he tried involving my girlfriend and my mother. No one, and I mean no one, gets away with involving my mother. Yeah, I mean, you gotta defend your family. Gosh, that is horrible. That's horrible. Rooster, did you get your boost? I got 50 million boosters in my feet. That's right. That is why his feet are big and sweaty and fat and pulsating. You know, there's so many boosters up in those feet. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all. So the time just flew by. I'm just kind of out of it today because the time changed. I'm just like, it's 6 o'clock? There's no way. It's 6 o'clock here. Yeah, it is. So, oh. Okay, so, well, regardless, people who are in different time zones, you may have more time or less time than me, but whatever the case is, I want to wish you all a fantastic week ahead. Enjoy your week, and I will be live again next Sunday for some more exciting discussions with all of you and the mice. That's right. We will be here next week, boys and lizards. That's right. So yeah, you all have a great week ahead, and I'll catch you all again soon. Bye-bye.